All right. Hi, Maria. I'm Adam Rhodes, Head of Sales here at 51toCarbonZero. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today. Charlotte, I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Charlotte, Client Success Manager here at 51toZero, and I manage DEPT accounts. So yeah, well trained on all things DEPT, and looking forward to the conversation today, Maria.
Fantastic. Well, maybe start, Maria. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What's your background? How did you get into sustainability?
Yes, of course. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this space. Well, I'm Maria Pardo. I'm Sustainability and Impact Project Manager at DEPT since 3 years ago. Originally, I'm from Colombia, so I lived almost 26 years there. I had a business administration bachelor, and then I moved to the Netherlands to do a master in governance of sustainability. When I was back in Colombia, after I finished my bachelor, I started in corporate sustainability. Then I moved to the sustainability consultancy and nonprofit consultancy side. And then when I moved to the Netherlands, I found a job at DEPT. So back to the corporate side of things. But why am I in sustainability? Well, something that really marked my life when I was doing my bachelor is that the first class, the teacher told us the main reason that business exists is because they need to make money. And in that moment, I was like, what am I doing here? Because I started to study business because I wanted to supply a need of the community or of people. So I was like, what am I doing here? But then, like, after my first year, I had a sustainability class, and I learned that actually it's not about making profit, it's about generating value. It's about seeing the interconnection of social, environmental, and economic development. And since then, my purpose in life is helping organizations to transform through an impact lens. And yes, that is what I believe in. And I believe that businesses and everyone has the responsibility to fight to have a most equal and fair world. So yeah, that's a bit of me.
Thanks, Maria. That's I think we can all empathize with that here at 51toCarbonZero. We're all kind of working in this industry for very similar reasons. So yeah, great to hear that. Could you maybe introduce DEPT as well, the scale of the business and how sustainability fits into the organization's broader goals?
Yes, of course. So DEPT is a growing innovation company in the intersection of technology and marketing. This means that we're a global digital agency across 30 countries with more than 4,000 multidisciplinary teams. And the way that we work is that we want to connect all of our knowledge from brand, e-commerce, AI, to make our clients connect faster with their consumers. But we also want that DEPT is the best agency for the world. And because of this, we had our B Corp certification and our climate label certification since 2021. And since then, we have been trying to define what is impact for us. And we have our impact strategy that has 4 main pillars, and we integrate these 4 pillars with our employees and with our clients. So the first pillar is impactful work. We're committed to have 50% of our revenue working with purpose-driven organizations or with purpose-driven projects. Then we have climate. Now we have our climate target, science-based, and approved by SBTi. But I think that we're going to talk more about that in the other questions. Then we have community. In community, we donate 1% of our profit through donations, through DEPT, that is our global volunteer event, and through pro bono. And here in community, we also have our sustainable procurement process. And lastly, we have DEI, where we try to understand our demographic data. Also, we have targets to enhance ethnicity and woman positions in leadership and in our workforce. And we have our employee resource groups that promote also social equity among DEPT. That is what we do, and I'm the lead of the community and environmental pillar. So I develop the initiatives in those two streams.
Wow, fantastic. I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot going on. There's a really strong, internal sustainability culture. So what made you start looking externally for support? You've got, a lot that's already, I think it sounds very successful already from a sustainability standpoint.
Well, I think that when I started at DEPT, we had like our, 2 years, the measurement of our carbon footprint. We have more than 30 offices all across the world. And we try to organize it and understand the data, but of course, everyone does things in a different way. And when we try to have, our climate level certification, we identified that we needed to understand if we were doing it right, because we needed to be coherent in what we were doing, saying, and also defining actions to reduce it, because if not, what is the purpose if we say that we have these targets, but we're not even contributing to, keep our climate below 1.5, or all of these external commitments. So we needed someone that have like external eyes to help us see, like saying, okay, no, you're doing it right. This is the way to do it, or this is how you can improve, and also help us to understand how we can set targets that are going to be meaningful and impactful, and mainly just standardize the process, because nowadays, well, not even, like the United Nations, but also the governments, also our clients were demanding more precise, more data quality and granularity. So we needed someone that could help us be standard through the years, and that we can also have a standardized methodology that can prove what we're doing. So we had like a lot of progress, but still there is such a long way to be accurate and do something that is impactful.
Makes sense. So it sounds like you didn't just need, a software platform to help with some of the reporting you were doing, but like you say, you needed almost a second set of eyes to help you take the next step in the journey.
Yes, and I think that that is what we really like about 51toCarbon, because you can have like platforms, and you can have like the SaaS, like integration, but at some point you also need to talk with someone and like brainstorm together, and if you have a roadblock, and understand what is the process. So apart from having the platform that has a really nice integration on how you are achieving your targets, and the methodology that you guys also offer to us at the end, for us is really important to have someone that is also part of our team, that we can count on, that we can ask for advice and just double check what we're doing. So I think that approach of human and technology is what we really like, and is also what we believe on. And because also DEPT is part of the technology and marketing industry, and this industry is not as material as other industries. So sometimes it's even more tricky, because you don't even know if the actions that you are doing are meaningful. And the experience that 51toCarbon has in the industry allow us also to understand, and to, when we present this also internally to our internal stakeholders, it makes sense. So we also needed someone that knew what they were doing. So
Makes sense. Okay, so before partnering with 51toZero, what were some of the main challenges you faced in trying to deliver on your climate goals?
Okay, perfect. Well, I think that I mentioned a bit earlier on, but if I can summarize, first was the data quality or data assurance that we needed to make sure that we were doing things correctly, and also what was the next step to also go beyond what we were doing. A second, that we wanted a standardized process through time that will allow us to consolidate KPIs, also to report external entities when needed. And lastly, just to have an external second of eyes with the technical expertise that will allow us to define the the reduction initiatives that were tailor-made to our industry, and also to the maturity level that we are currently with our climate strategy.
Thanks. No, yeah, you did mention that earlier, and I guess really I was kind of wondering, did you have any key metrics that you wanted to improve on, speed, consistency, validation of your emissions or anything else?
Well, I think that all of them. But if I can prioritize them, I will start with validation. I think that was the most important one for us, especially because, well, part of our climate label certification is to have a process where we measure our carbon footprint, but also the methodology that we use. And we also needed to commit or to set science-based targets. So 2 years ago, we decided to submit our commitment to the SBTi, and then we had like a 2 years timeline, but of course time passes. And then when we open our eyes, we were like, oh God, okay, we have like 1 year. We need help, especially because when you see all of these external standards, they are super technical and really precise. So you will notice if you say something in one question and then if it's not coherent or if it doesn't match in the next section. So we needed something really organized, structure that will allow us to, well, first submit our SBTi targets with speed and achieve our climate label certification. Second, also, well, we submit also in CDP as part of our clients' requests. So we needed to consolidate also, for example, metrics such as cost investments, greenhouse reductions, etc. So yeah, we needed something in one place that over time will show consistency and that can fit the timeline that we needed to fit these requirements.
I'm just going to jump in here, Adam. Just hearing about the SBTi and CDP reporting that you had to do this year, I know as well. How did the advisory side from 51toZero help you with that part of your reporting journey?
Perfect. So with SBTi, I think that you guys offer us since the beginning the technical expertise, but also explaining us what was step by step and what was the, like the things that we needed to consider and also what we needed to change in our processes to fit those requirements. So it's not only that you guys did it, it's like, okay, you understand the current state of how we operate and suggest also opportunities in how we do stuff. And the second one in CDP, well, CDP was like the summer nightmare, kind of. So before, I used to do it by myself, and it has a lot of like items that you need to be aware, and especially in this type of certifications, you need to be really clear, and you guys taught us this, with how you frame your responses, with how you connect each part from the measurement, targets, reduction, risk and opportunities. So just having like a structured project ways of working. So for example, we used to work before CDP, we define a timeline. We had basically weekly meetings and you were part of our team. So I think that was the added value that you guys offered the most. Just be part of our team, brainstorm together if it was a roadblock or a difficulty that we had. Okay, how are we going to fix it? And you were actually really propositive. Like, it's not that we were just looking at you and trying to see, hey guys, what is going on? Actually, it was the other way. Like, you guys were, okay, no, this is what I did, the next step is this, you can do this better. So I think that just having someone that is there helping you to be better, that was how we perceive the advisory. So we're really grateful to have you guys on board in our journey as well.
Thank you. That is great to hear, Maria. Thank you very much. Yeah, Adam, on to you if you have any further questions.
No, I guess, were there any moments where you felt the combination of people and technology, really made the difference? Perhaps something that surprised you about the process?
Yes, I think that, for example, that in CDP, sometimes you don't understand the terminology and you have like the question mark that probably you can understand that, like, oh, well, they explain you the question or what you have to do. But sometimes is still really complicated to understand. Or for us, like this type of certification is just not like to check a box. It's actually we want to do something about it. And I think that is when the combination between technology and humans offer like a real benefit, because it's not okay, let's just define the best words that will fit. No, let's take a moment, understand what is happening, and actually what we're going to report is something that we are going to do, not something that is going to look good in the words. And that is something that a human is going to offer you, not the platform. But of course, like the platform allows us to have everything in one place. We can see the progress. We can see how each office and location is behaving. You also have the data quality check, so we know what is the next step. We want to be better. So I think that is the best combination of both worlds. But the thing that most surprised me is that the human gives you like a reality check on, okay, is this worth it or not? So yeah.
That's really good to hear. Agreed on all points as well. Yeah, we do like to say that we are an extension of your team, so it's nice that you feel the same way, Maria.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Following on from that, I know recently we've been looking a lot more at the transition part. So looking at reduction initiatives and solutions that you can implement within DEPT. How is the platform helping you with this? I know we are going to be moving a lot of your solutions that we've planned together onto the platform. And how do you envision this being an asset to DEPT, having all your solutions on the platform with the estimated carbon reduction, costing, and seeing that in either list view or the roadmap view as well?
Yeah, I love those actions because that allow us to have a roadmap that is really clear, and it connects to our target. So if we already have these targets that are 2030, 2050, when I go to teams, I need to have a plan that narrows down to long, medium, and short term. So when I saw the next step after you measure, you set your targets, then okay, how are you going to reduce it? This like framework allow the impact team at DEPT to connect with other teams. So now what we did after that, we create a climate strategy plan, and now we're working in work streams. So for example, we have a work stream with the housing team, a work stream with the IT team, with business travel, and we prioritize those actions in short, medium, long term. We're going to start systematizing all the costs. And well, you guys also help us with all the spend estimations, greenhouse estimations, because for us it was also really important to know, is this meaningful? Like, because sometimes you have initiatives that are a policy or that are not really material, but at some point it will also contribute to achieve those targets. So we're really excited about these actions, and it also helps us internally to enable these conversations with teams. And at some point, we're also going to be able to show the results with clear KPIs and how everyone is contributing to achieve these targets.
That's really great. And also, you mentioned about being able to connect with different teams, and on the platform we have the option of assigning different solutions to different people, so users can log on and see what solutions they're assigned to and then take action on that. Do you see that as a positive thing and something that you'll be using within your transition plan?
Yes, well, that is definitely the goal for, well, maybe more medium term, because as I mentioned, we have more than 30 offices, and well, our office managers, of course, we need to start first with an education and awareness, but the goal is for us just to be able to share this with each office manager or team lead, so they can see how each location is contributing to the plan that we have. But we're taking step by step. But so far, we already shared the platform with the housing team, and they loved it. We also shared with the lead of the IT team. So I think that bit by bit, we are engaging, but at some point we want this tool to be able to be part of the day-to-day of the operations, and that can be a tool for decision making, especially from local to global strategies.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, sounds very positive, and definitely taking it step by step is an important way to go. You don't want to rush things if it's going to make it sloppy. It's better to get things done right and get it done slightly slower. So completely agree on that. I'll hand over to Adam.
All right, well, let's talk about outcomes. You achieved 80% improvement in data quality. I think you saved something like 2 to 3 weeks of internal effort and cut your audit time in half. So which of those had the biggest day-to-day impact for you and the team?
All of them. Like, I'm just remembering like a year ago when we, like, for example, I'm going to start with the SBTi submission. I think that was the first thing that we did. And we had a timeline, I think that of 6 months to do it. But I think that with all the precision that the team from 51toCarbon had, we were able to submit it in 3 weeks. So if you do the calculation, it's like 6 months, 3 weeks, like a lot of time consumed and saved. And with the carbon footprint, I think that for me, I saw the greatest results because, as I mentioned before, I think that I was like project managing by myself, like all of this data collection. And before we used like another spreadsheet, we used a spreadsheet to submit like in a platform. And we didn't even know if the data that we had was good enough or not. But with the help of Charlotte and Theo, we were able to not even like had our results on time for our climate level certification. That was the most important part for us because we were changing the way that we were submitting the data. But the methodology document that you guys offer after it allow us that in the verification process, because we also needed a third party to verify the process, was really smooth. And actually the verification company that we work with congratulated 51toCarbon. They were really impressed with the platform and the way that the data was organized, and also for them to check step by step. And I think that, as I have mentioned before, like we feel that 51toCarbon is part of our team. So if we had a question, the next day it was answered. If we have any doubt, the next day it was answered. So I think that it was like a really fast-paced environment, but with really precision on what we were doing. And so I think that first, the data quality check, I think that was the biggest result, the speed. With a currency, it's not like just doing things fast because doing things fast, it's because you guys know what they're doing. But also like the recommendations. I think that you guys also recommended us the commuting survey that we didn't have before. And it was really clear. And for us, it was really easy to integrate it to, for example, our employee survey, our employee satisfaction survey. So I think that is also like solutions oriented, but really practical. So I think that was also some of the results that we can see with working with you guys.
Fantastic. So I feel like we've kind of touched on a few different points there. Your data confidence, improved data confidence, hopefully, well, definitely some efficiencies in the way you do your reporting. And also, I think some cultural elements about engaging the wider business in the sustainability reporting process, which I think is all awesome. But what stood out to you most, I guess, in the collaboration with us?
Well, I think that the first thing that most that we value the most, I think that I have said like quite often, but it's like understand the data, understand how we can be better, and understand what is the next step. But I'm going to be really clear about this, like tailor-made to our industry, because that is really important to us. Also, the propositiveness and that you guys are up to date. We don't have to look for you guys. You guys are like integrated now in our day-to-day operations, and the frameworks that we can use that not only allow us like to report and to have things systematized, but also that allow us to create some culture within teams, to educate teams what we're doing and to bring more people on board and for them to see that what they do actually contribute to something bigger.
Amazing. I think, yeah, all really good learning points. And I think, we're really pleased to hear the feedback, because that's the kind of thing we want to really foster as being an extension of your team effectively. So well done to Charlotte and the guys.
Great.
Yes.
For other global organizations who are facing similar complexity of measurement, what advice would you share to them about getting started?
That's a good one. Well, first, I think that don't try to replicate what works in one place to work in another place, and go from global centralization to local centralization. So what I will advise, just map like what do you require for each data requirement, and see what do you have in each location, because sometimes the location and the maturity of the data that you have depends on the location that you are seeing. So don't try to replicate, because it's not going to work, and try to work really close with some local teams that need more effort than others. Be really organized with what you collect, because tracking year over year and making sure that everything is in one place will save a lot of time. And sometimes you need to ask for help, so don't think that you are alone. For example, we were really lucky to be able to find you guys and work together with you, because we needed the next step, we needed the expertise, and we needed someone that also make us be better. So it's also good to ask for help. And I think that being part of a global agency, with a background that we care, we have an impact strategy, sometimes you also need to rethink on how you are doing things. And sometimes you can think that all your processes are in place, but they're not. So it's also really nice to have someone that can revise how are you doing things, that also have a perspective on how other companies are doing, and you can have a benchmark on how you can enhance your practices to be better. I think that those will be more advice, my advices.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. That's really good advice. And I think definitely keeping things organized, getting some sort of advisory / platform like us is a great way of just having that second pair of eyes and helping you through. So thank you for that. In terms of how you chose us, what set 51toCarbonZero apart from other providers that you evaluated? And a follow-up question to that, did we live up to your expectations?
Yes, well, I think that the thing that stood out the most was your experience in the industry, because we needed something tailored for us, because you can have a lot of platforms, a lot of services, but they are designed for other type of companies. So for us, it was really nice to see that actually the marketing and technology industry could have an impact, and that the solutions can be different, but they are still meaningful. Second, that human and technology combination. We needed not only a platform that we can just upload data and that has a chat box, and that's it. No, we needed someone that can also provide us awareness, education, and brainstorm with us what is the next step. Those three main components were the ones that set you guys apart. And yes, you have been fulfilling all of our expectations, and I think that even more. We were really surprised with the leadership that Charlotte had during CDP. She was on top of it. She was super fast. She was also bringing new ideas, being really clear. All the questions were answered completely. And now with the way that we're working, we have our monthly catch-ups to keep us on track, to have the data quality assurance, to revise initiatives. and you guys give more. And I think that that is something that differentiates for the rest. Is yes, we ask, but you can also come back and say, hey, but we can also do this. And I think that that is something that you don't find easily with some service providers.
Thank you. Yeah, we really like to think that we give like an unlimited level of support for our clients, because our ultimate goal is to reduce carbon. It's in our name. It's what we want. We don't just want to be a platform. We want to help you guys go from that measurement to the transition and implementing the reduction. So anything along the way that we can help and push and encourage you to do better, we really like to do that. It's very easy to do it with you, because you're got such a engaged team, and it's pleasure working. So just finally, as we look ahead, so you're now aligned to the 1.5 degree pathway, validated SBTi targets. What is next for DEPT in terms of your sustainability journey, and how do you see the partnership with us at 51toCarbonZero evolving?
Well, you asked this question, and I don't know if I'm scared or not. No, I'm excited. No, I'm kidding. I'm excited because like now we're on the phase. I think that now we know how we work with, for example, the carbon footprint measurement. So I think that is going to be a nice one. And now with the reduction action plans, I'm really excited because I'm seeing how we're working with teams, we're consolidating, and now we're moving to the implementation phase. That sometimes that is the trickiest one, and sometimes just you define a deadline, but then you don't reach a deadline because, of course, a lot of people are doing other stuff. But I think that it's really excited to set now the words into actions and quantify it. So I'm really excited to see, for example, in a year, if what we did now actually reduce our carbon footprint, because sometimes it's a lot of speculations and you set some practices in place, but then when they come and you measure it, what if it doesn't work? So I'm really excited, and I have a lot of expectations to see if it works. I think that it does. And I think that we will make everything as possible to fit these targets. And I really hope that we can, like in 2030, we can review this and say we did it. And that we also see that other companies actually do it, because we do this to actually contribute for something better, not like to be good and nice to have. No, it's because we care. So I hope that these good practices can also multiply in other businesses. And what I see in our partnership and how we can develop it, we'll continue working together. Also, building case studies with what we are doing at DEPT in the implementation phase, because probably, you guys also work with a lot of clients, so it will be really interesting to see how, what are the main initiatives that everyone is doing, what works, what doesn't, what can be changed, what can be improved. So I think that is what I expect next from this partnership, to continue building this team, continue also multiplying these practices across our supply chain, across other businesses, and hopefully learn how to do things better.
Well, yeah, thanks, Maria, for that. I think we all agree that we're all here for that same reason, is to ultimately put our words into action, as you said, and make the right steps towards reducing, I guess, meeting our targets, but hopefully also getting not just yourselves, but as many clients as we can to net zero. So really, I think that is the 51toCarbonZero ethos, and you've kind of captured it perfectly there. So thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate all the insights you've shared, and I'd like to wish you the best of luck in the next steps of the journey.
Thank you, guys, and likewise, it has been a pleasure to work with you, and I can't wait to see what is next.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, pleasure is all here as well.
Have a lovely day, guys.
Thanks, Maria. Bye.